What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joshua Edwards, live from Brooklyn, New York. This is Panthers Pride Television. We know that we are officially or starting to look in mock drafts. If your team was as bad as my team was this past season, you're not looking forward to the postseason. The only thing you're looking forward to is mock drafts, what Mel Kiper is saying, what these other sport fanatics websites are saying about your team and the possibility of you drafting a stud pillar for your franchise for years to come. So that brings me to some things that Dan Morgan said, man, and I'm about to tell you exactly what he said. So Dan Morgan, when he was asked about the need for a star receiver heading into the offseason, this was his exact words, and I quote, "We're just going to look to add really good football players. It's not going to be specific to any position or need." Dan Morgan, let's stop the cap, man. Let's stop the cap. At the end of the day, what are we looking for? We are looking for, I'm not saying that we're not looking for really good football players. Duh. Everybody that's a general manager, everybody that's drafting, everybody that's in the free agency, scouting, they're looking for really good football players. But let's not sit here and act like we don't have position needs that are specific to the team. Like, we know we couldn't stop the run. We were historically bad on defense. We gave up the most points in NFL history. I'm not talking this season. I'm talking about throughout the entirety of the National Football League history. The Carolina Panthers this past season gave up the most points defensively. It's not the Tennessee Titans who have the number 1 overall pick. It wasn't the Cleveland Browns. It wasn't the New England Patriots. It was the Carolina Panthers. So for you to sit here and just give us and feed us bull job, like, come on, man. Come on. I can see and swift through all that garbage, man. Like no, like stop the cap, man. And then when you look at the offensive side, the old man needs some help. Bryce Young also needs help. Adam Thielen cannot be our number 1 receiver next season. Adam Thielen cannot be our number 1 receiver this upcoming season. He's 35 years of age. There's no reason why he has one fewer reception than Xavier Legette, more yards, more touchdowns, and he missed 6 games. Now, that is not a knock on Adam Thielen. But that's kind of a knock on Xavier Legette. You play 6 more games, get 1 more catch than Adam Thielen, 1 fewer touchdown, the yards, it doesn't match up. Like Xavier Legette, I was expecting you to be a guy. Like, if we're being honest and let's be transparent here, let's not cut any feelings. Xavier Legette right now at his point in his career is known more for the way he talks than his performance on the football field. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I do know what I'm talking about, bro. Like, you're not a guy right now, and it's okay. I do believe that you eventually will become a guy, Xavier Legette, but you have got to improve, especially what we're looking for in the number 1 overall pick. Like, this is not going to cut it, man. It's just not. And Dan Morgan, stop feeding us bull job. The fans want better. Yes, we want you to go out here and say you are going to get players for specific needs for the Carolina Panthers. What are those specific needs? D-line, receivers, cornerbacks, linebackers. That's what we want you to say. Don't feed us bull jive when we've been getting bull jive from Matt Rule, from our old former GM. Like, stop this garbage. I don't know how I just did that, but that was pretty cool. But like, just stop this garbage, man. Yeah. But we're going to transition just a little bit. This kind of ties back in with the whole GM situation. So there have been some talks about Zach Bond. Now, if you don't know who Zach Bond is, let me go ahead and just fill you in. He was a first-team All-Pro. Yes, he is 28 years old. Man, but this past season, he was phenomenal. It was really hard I'm look, we here with it. It was really hard this past season to say he was not the best linebacker this season. We know Fred Warner's there. We know Roquan Smith is there. But Zach Bond was no slouch. 151 total tackles. Played all 17 games. He didn't play the last game because they were trying to rest up for the playoffs. Played 16 games, 3.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and he was making plays. He made a play against the LA Rams where he picked the ball off. So, should the Carolina Panthers go all in on Zach Bond? Nah. No, man. For everything that I just said about Dan Morgan and us trying to get pieces specifically related to the Carolina Panthers, I do believe Zach Bond is an addition to the defense. Like, who wouldn't be an addition to the defense when you bring 151 total tackles, 3.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and your first team All-Pro, which resonates with the entire NFL. But at the end of the day, he's old. For everything that I said about Adam Thielen is the same exact thing that I'm saying about Zach Bond. We need to get younger. J.C. Horn's young. Derek Brown's young. You don't go out here and pay a 28-year-old linebacker all these big bucks after one good season. I think if we really want to go out there and get Zach Bond, I think that we should try to acquire him for about 3 years, $30 million. But there's a couple other guys that are out there. Why isn't Darius Leonard signed yet? Why is he on the street? I understand he had back surgery, but it's hard for me to say Darius Leonard is not one of the top 40, 50 linebackers. Like, he's still an elite linebacker, I believe. Zach Bond is obviously a stud. He's an all-pro. But I'm pretty sure the Eagles would definitely re-sign him, man. We know what Howie Roseman is going to do with that whole roster, man. He found a way to get freaking Saquon Barkley on the Philadelphia Eagles. So I believe 100% he's going to re-sign Zach Bond. But if he's there, I mean, Dan Morgan, let's not cap. You got to take the chance on him, man. Zach Bond, 28 years old, etc. So, man, as we're winding down, I've been looking more and more at the Carolina Panthers defensively. Does Mason Graham guarantee change on the defense? Now, if you don't know who Mason Graham is, he was arguably, this is his comparables to Derek Brown. D. Brown did not play this past year, so his stats on the right is from his prior season. But Mason Graham is an All-American from Michigan. He was a highly touted defensive tackle or defensive player coming into this past season in college football. Nobody knew that he would be a top 5 pick. Nobody knew that he would be arguably the best defensive player in the entire college football, not named Travis Hunter. But Mason Graham, man, this past season, he had 3.5 sacks, 45 tackles, 0 forced fumbles, and then 7 TFLs. So do I believe he can be a complimentary piece to D. Brown and really be wreak havoc and double trouble? Absolutely. Him and D. Brown, the 1 tech, the 3 tech, whatever technique you want to put him in. If you want to put Derek Brown on the defensive end in a 7 technique, a 5 technique. If you want to put Mason Graham in a 1, a shade, a 3, and we talking football. We talking football now. So if you want to put either one of these dudes in the 1 or the 3 technique, I think that is how you are going to build an amazing defensive line for the Carolina Panthers. When you go back and look at the games, where were we getting gashed at? Exactly where D. Brown was, who didn't play the whole season. And that's just where they were going. Right up the middle, inside zone. Right, the center would just wash down a D tackle. Running back would cut off the butt of the offensive lineman, and he'll go make a play. So you have these two guys clogging the middle. If we can go out here and make another addition, we know that we got some young talent in the linebacker core. Remember, We just drafted a guy from Kentucky. So just those little things, man, that I think about a lot, man. If we go out here, we sign Mason Graham with the D Brown, we're gonna be whooping guards' asses all year long. That's gonna be better on the secondary. That's gonna be better on linebackers when they have to field, because the offensive line has to work harder to block D Brown, who was an All-Pro or a Pro Bowl type of guy, and Mason Graham, who can become a Pro Bowl type of guy. So I think the Carolina Panthers can have a serious good problem with the double trouble when it comes with Mason Graham and Derrick Brown.